Good evening, everyone. My name is Benjamin. Sorry I'm getting to this a little bit later than I normally would on a Monday, at least during the fall. I've been feeling a little bit sick today. I still went, did, my day job because I like getting paid, but no, I've just been feeling a little bit off today. After this, I'm probably just going to go get some tea and yeah. It's not fun. Anyway, as always, likes, comments, subscriptions, all that helps out. Useful links are in the description. And before I get into this, as I said on Friday with the Senate video, the Senate model is suffering from no sample size essentially, and yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the rear end, but please don't take those numbers as gospel because they aren't. And the truth is that those numbers are kind of because that's not what I actually think it's going to wind up being. I'm free to disagree with a model that I've designed, even if I've taken every precaution. Because, sure, a model is nice and all, and it should line up if you designed it properly with what will happen. But that doesn't mean it will. A model can't capture everything, and a model's only going to be able to have what the information that you put into it and that you can put into it. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work out. People have brilliant, people will design nearly flawless models, and yet they'll still be wrong because real life is more complicated than that. The Senate model, people yet only one seat is safe for the Democrats, and my answer to that is no. Don't take the model too seriously right now. I'm updating it just because I think it's the right thing to do, and I'm showing you the updates that I've made to it, which is mainly just adding in more polls, which leads to, for example, this should be, there we go. I'll collapse the polls and by week here, and then that way the newest polls take precedence. I'm going to do that with the Senate model as soon as I actually get enough data for it. And, of course, I've been doing, these. I've been adding the national polls, and when the monthly updates come, and by the way, at the end of the quarter, I'm going to probably collapse. Actually, I'm only going to do that at the end of the year since I just don't get enough state polling. I think that's probably the smart thing to do. Anyway, and as always, there is a state and national mean page. This is for polls only if you want to use that instead of the forecast, which includes fundamentals. So if you want to just look at polls only, please do so. But understand that presidential approval rating in terms of the state polling isn't necessarily indicative of where the vote will lie. Now, back to this. Obviously, collapsing the national level polling changed a few things because especially when I added in the national polls that came out in that time frame, it really turned things against Trump because, I've designed my model to have a small effect from the national polling into state level polling in such a way that national polls are going to move the states in a certain direction. So if it goes in favor of the Democrats, it's obviously going to favor the Democrats. If it goes in favor of the Republicans, it's going to favor the Republicans. That's just the way it works out. At the moment, because I've done everything I can to try and make a non-confusing way to include elasticity. Unfortunately, I think it just winds up being too confusing and too unwieldy for the model, so I just have a blanket amount because the truth is we're talking maybe hundredths or thousandths of a percentage that it's going to make a difference in. I really doubt we're going to have a difference of a tenth of a percent based off of elasticity. And at a tenth of a percent, yeah, I could actually believe it affecting an election, unless we're talking in Florida, where maybe I should, actually include it. Because, yeah, but in all seriousness, I don't think a tenth of a percentage is really going to matter all that much, he says, and watch a tenth of a percent matter in 2020. But definitely not a hundredth, which is more likely to be the effect of including elasticity in the model. So that's why I've made that decision. Also because I don't want to make it too confusing for people who want to dig in and see exactly how the model is built. I think that would be a little... And plus it helps me understand my own model better. Because I can explain everything right now just by looking at it. And apparently my phone's going off. Anyway, that's really all I had planned for today, was to kind of talk about it. Things have kind of gone, the model's stabilized now that we're starting to get more data, obviously. After that collapsing or compacting of information. So, that's good. I want to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.